past 5? Have you guys had a chance to read the minutes?
Yeah, Kerry made the only thing I had already.
Okay, Tom?
Yep.
Okay, do I hear a
Motion to
motion?
accept.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. You spent 2,000 anyways on heat already, right? Said, well, 2,000 this month?
Yeah, yes. It did get cold for like a week, and then it went the other way again. I'm not complaining, because my bill's down at home.
Yeah. But the finance committee won't be all over us for budgeting too much for heat.
Well, not this year, but next year they'll look and say, well, you didn't use it this past year.
I think I got everything in there. Riverbend got 1944 back, huh? Abatement.
This time when they read it, said like 75,000, it read 7,500, so I had to.
Yeah, they shouldn't be using a heck of a lot.
There was a
of
mistake
water
on the reading.
No, he's always complaining though, because his usage keeps going up as the units get older and older. They begin to have little leaks here or there.
either.
So
Well,
they
should
should
work
have,
on finding the leaks and
right.
fix them.
Next thing on the agenda is 80 Ash Street. Is that you?
Yes.
Oh, come on right up here and join us up here. What's your name?
Kathy Hamilton.
Captain here. So, this is Aquabral, Rick Kruger, and Tom Snow.
She's Brad Herrick's daughter.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Kathy
I
Harris.
didn't recognize, I haven't seen you in years.
In early November, I had a pipe that burst out in the pool house on the property, and I'm guessing that the water was probably running probably anywhere 24, 48 hours. With a major, it wasn't just a leak, it was flooding everything. I did receive a letter from the water department in early December. They had mentioned that there might be a leak on the property. I had already had it fixed, but I was hoping there would be some consideration into maybe an adjustment on the bill before it comes out.
So none of this reflects it then?
No, this is all before.
This is all before.
So how much water was used?
I don't
Anybody
have
know?
I don't have the readings done for the bill. I got about 10 more days before I do that.
Oh. I don't know, if you don't pay it, then we gotta put it on everybody else, so. I don't know, why don't we wait and see what the damage was for a day, it can't be that bad.
I mean, normally, you're not even getting an excess charge
Right.
on
In the
these.
summer I might because of the pool, but
Oh.
I've had other small leaks and plumbing and the pool liner and stuff. I've always paid the bill. I just.
Have you read the meter yet?
I don't know.
Yeah.
When?
It's probably been right, yeah.
Did you look at the numbers at all to see if?
I have a hard time deciphering that new system.
Oh.
They just read them on Friday, and
Oh.
today I didn't.
So you haven't had a chance
to
Look at
So
it.
her meeting got read on Friday?
Should have been, yeah.
So,
Yeah, they did go.
how long ago was the leak?
It was early November. It was before I had a chance to get everything winterized. It was warm, and then all of a sudden, we had the cold weekend, and that's when the pipe burst.
Did, do you have a way of shutting it off in the cellar?
Yeah. As soon as I detected it, I shut it off.
Yeah, but I mean, you should probably do that every season when the freezer.
A little bit earlier next time.
I mean, the thing is, we really can't do
We don't know what it is.
Yeah,
anything.
can't
if
do
we don't-
anything.
because we don't know what anything is at this point.
I called when I got the letter.
Yeah.
It was informed that there's a meeting here, could come and, plead my case a little bit, see if there's any consideration for it, and doesn't hurt to ask.
I can't imagine it's gonna, will it leak for a day or two, you think?
I'm thinking it was probably close to 2 days. I mean, I'm guessing anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, but it was.
I don't think you'll see much of a bill. Water doesn't cost that much.
It wasn't a little leak.
How many inch line? Noah Brad, a 4?
I honestly don't know, but it was the cap right off the pipe blew off, and basically, so it was just water.
Open-ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very God knows. Let's wait and see. That's my feeling. What do you think?
Yeah, unless we can't do anything now, we don't know
Let's
what
see,
we're
we gotta see what it comes
talking
out.
about. Hopefully, it's just gonna be right around where you, I mean, if you're normally running low enough under that you're just on the basic charge anyway, you might not even end up seeing it.
Okay.
But why don't we, yeah, just defer this until we know what's,
You
you
let us know, Gary, as soon as that,
can put it on for, we'll know for next month.
yeah, put it on for the next meeting, we'll revisit it.
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Next month? You let me know.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thanks for coming in.
All right. See ya.
See you, Kevin.
Alright, let's see. 5:86 minutes.
Oh, all right, so they're building their building, it's been determined they don't need a sprinkler line, so they just wanna tap into the existing service rather than have a new service for the building.
Which is
where,
So that's the guy that was in here with the barn problem.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
it's Spadia's old problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
So he's gonna have the office in the old house.
yeah,
That's what you're talking about?
right, but he wants to have toilets in he's building a building, I guess, to hold the trucks.
Yeah, he's gonna rent bays and stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
so he wants a hand washing sink and a bathroom in there. So he needs water back there.
So how do you wanna do that?
Well, he just wants to tie into the existing service. He'd have to pay for a meter, obviously, then.
what's there, a meter in the house?
So the house has a meter, but it's a slab, so it's not like you can get in through the basement and come back out and go to the building. Cause that would be
So he
easier.
wants a tap off.
Separate meter?
Right,
Separate meter.
yeah.
So you get another basic charge and everything, he has no problem with that.
I can let him know, but that's, if you have a separate meter, yeah, cause then we have to administer it. He'd have to pay the $400 for the meter.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, if he pays the basic fee all the time, then.
what's-
How do we handle the barn, what's he doing with the barn?
So the barn, you guys should make him, before you tie in the new building, fix the barn. I'd like it
Oh,
better
yeah, I
if
thought
they,
he already was doing that.
he's supposed to do it, he hasn't done it
What
yet.
was he gonna, I forget what the solution was.
So he needs to run, there's not enough copper sticking out of the barn is on a rock foundation. So it just barely sticks into the barn and they've grabbed it with a garden hose. So there's not really enough to mount a meter in there. So he's supposed to run a new piece of copper in from the curb stop in.
So he's gonna put a meter in there then?
Yes,
So it's gonna be one curb stop and 3 meters.
right. But he should have a
But they're all-
separate
all-
curb
they're
stop.
all the
No,
same
it's
hole.
a separate one, isn't it? There's
Well, it would be a
curb stop that
separate
goes
one, but
into-
if he taps off the main one, so so it's basically, it'd be 3 meters for one property. But if he owns all 3 of them, so if he defaults, then you just shut him off everything at the front.
Yep.
But he should put in a curb stop wherever he is, just in case he ever has a leak on its way
Then
back.
he's not shutting off
Well,
everything.
and if he decided to not pay on the barn or something, it's not like we
Right.
can't
But
go
it's-
shut off the rest.
Right.
of it.
Maybe we should see the site plan before we make a decision and see where the new building's going and.
We can
Does it
ask
make
that, he
sense?
should technically put in a meter pit, because what if the thing bursts, then we have no way of knowing that it does burst? Because if the house is there, I don't know, I'm assuming he's gonna be at least 100 or 200 feet back with that building, whatever he's building.
But shouldn't we look and see, just make sure that like, the property doesn't get subdivided someday or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how to prevent that.
Yeah, he can't, he isn't gonna be able to subdivide it with all off one service line, because everybody's gonna have their own.
No, it's a subdivide, you have to break everything down here, that's not that big a frontage on
Yeah, I don't-
that piece of
yeah.
land. I think he's just going back behind,
Right,
so they're
The
gonna
house.
drive in between the house, I think,
And
and
the
the
barn.
barn,
yeah,
go back to that back building. But,
right.
like you said, we want,
I mean, he's got a lot of equipment, because he's already got some of it in there already.
but I think he has a sign out there for to rent bays already too.
Yeah, I haven't been back past there, but I know I saw the equipment all lined up along the solar panels.
Yeah.
Is that aquifer protection zone up there?
No, we looked at that, it's just outside. Because when he came in, we looked at the map.
Right. So it was just out of it, wasn't it?
Yeah, just past it.
I'm just saying, if he's putting contract, I haven't seen anything zoning board for that. If it's an aquifer protection, planning board does the site plan review.
Right, I think planning board's already gave him the go-ahead.
Planning board did?
Yeah, I
Must
think
be an
so.
aquifer protection then.
It is on the aquifer protection.
Yeah, it is, because it's down, we run all the way to Brockton.
Yeah, it's the other side of the road though, isn't it?
But I don't think he's supposed to repair
Oh,
anything, he's not
still-
supposed to store any fuel, and,
Yeah, he said he wasn't gonna store any fuel, remember? He said he was
Yeah,
having
yeah,
the
yeah.
equipment, but he wouldn't have a tank there. So he must be submitting something to somebody.
Yeah, he must have not given it
To the planning board then.
yeah.
You think they'll ask him where he's gonna get the water from?
No, they're not asking, I think he's all set to go, I think he's moving forward now.
Well,
He's made it through that.
why don't you have him come down here and see us next meeting with a set of plans so we can see what he's thinking.
Yeah.
What do you guys
And
think?
if you want to.
3 meters?
It's gotta be 3 meters. They've got the meter in the office building anyway. He's gonna have a meter going to the back. Unless he, I mean, if,
I'll put a meter pit in up front and meter them all up from one.
Right, you could do it that way, and that way it's just one bill.
Then if there's any leaks on the property, it's all on
Right,
him.
and he's only paying, if he gets down to 1 meter, he's only paying 1 charge then. If he leaves it at 3, he's gonna pay 3 basic charges.
and have him do what, put it out in a meter pit out near the road?
It would be better, yeah, somewhere out, or at least somewhere safe, because the curb stop's out by the road, so that's my only concern, getting to that should, I don't think he's gonna default, he has a lot of equipment.
So when he was here, he didn't talk about feeding the new building?
No, he didn't talk about that at all.
We, you know, he didn't discuss anything about a new building. He just talked about the barn.
Well, we brought him in because the barn, we want.
But
Right.
he was talking about a new connection into the barn off the curbs, with the curb
Right,
stops.
yeah, we found a curb stop out
Yeah.
beside the barn.
There's a curb, separate curb stop for the barn?
Yeah.
So there's one for the house and one for the barn?
No, the barn, when we traced it back, it looks like they went straight across. They definitely tied in illegally and went straight
Okay,
across
alright,
with
so
it.
it's one curb stop
Yeah,
to the house and they teed into the
Right.
barn.
yep,
So the barn was getting free water for years.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we caught it about 5 years back. When they did Manley Street, that's when we figured it out.
And he knows they're sure they don't need a sprinkler for.
Yeah, I think he already went through plan for that, yeah. Because that's why the engineering firm has been calling us about it.
How big's the
I
service?
can't believe that old barn.
It's
Was it
only a
for all those
3/4
years that
service,
they
so I
had, like,
warned
a
them,
big 2-inch
you're going so
water
far back, you're not
The
gonna.
barn
have
up the
nothing
street
to
had a 2-inch water line. It was an old galvanized one. It was in there for years. I can't understand how that didn't have water line there.
Yeah, I don't, it didn't, because Shaw hit
Right.
everything under the sun, but he didn't hit anything there.
Yeah. Weird.
You know, if you're,
right, so
if
you're gonna-
happy with a single, but yeah, he's gonna have an issue if he's
So you-
all he's got a
Right.
3/4 inch line going in there.
So does he need to come in, or we're just gonna let him put three? Oh, wait, oh.
No, we're gonna put, that's where I put I think it should have meter pit, then
Because
then,
it's so far back, if the thing burst, like Smokey's pit, his thing burst. And if it wasn't for his huge bill, he probably would have never fixed the thing.
right,
So Smokey had a meter pit?
Yes, he does.
up by the street, then he used, the thin irrigation pipe, and then it burst underground, and then he got like $1,000 water
Well, he
bill.
fixed it.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's the only reason why he did fix it, because it was on him instead of us.
How far back is the building going? Have you seen the plan?
I have not seen anything. We don't get many plans anymore. I
Yeah,
don't
no, that's
know
not
why.
right. If that goes to site plan review, we should have got a set.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. We're
Yeah,
supposed to turn in like 17 copies, and we're supposed to
Right.
get a copy. Why did we not?
I don't
You check
know.
with the town clerk and see what's going on there?
All right,
Because for site plan review, I think they gotta turn in something like 17 copies, and every department's supposed to get a copy. And maybe talk to Hugh Hurley and see if that's what their application says.
What are those plans right there?
Because we should be seeing the stuff, even if we
Anything
don't.
that we should be looking at?
I don't get,
Might be old stuff.
That's old.
Not gonna say anything on the beginning of it, about where it is. Spruce Building. Starts Maple Street.
yeah, well, that's the, yeah, that's the marijuana thing, the dispensary.
We have a mailbox down in the town clerk's office?
Yes.
You check that?
Usually she tells us when there's something. This one.
What's that one?
That's 31 Pleasant. I see something with his name on it. That's not who called me though. That's not it. Contractor yard, expansion, map, blah, blah, blah. I think this is it.
Not suited yet.
Nope, that's self-storage.
Where is that?
That's the self-storage
Self-storage,
there.
Pleasant Street.
Yeah, so we didn't get it. No, that's all lighting.
All right, so why don't you ask him to
Yeah,
come down and see us, bring us a set of plans, or find out who's got our set of plans. Somebody must have them somewhere.
You touch base with Hugh, town clerk, or see what's going on
Yeah.
there?
Next thing on the agenda is the 2021 budget.
so I gave you copies of what I could fill in. Town hasn't given me any numbers yet.
For life insurance, all that stuff.
Yeah. So I can't guesstimate what they're doing. If they were gonna expedite, maybe they should have filled in their numbers first and then sent out the thing.
Have we got those papers we're working on this afternoon? The one with the mortgage payment that changed on the tank.
So I only went up on a couple of things that were like, I think, it's not office supplies, but it's the data thing, data processing, because it's always rising.
There we go. That one there. Can you print that, a copy of that one for these guys?
Did you just
And
print
call-
that? Is that what this is?
What is it?
Is that what?
I didn't print any.
Yeah,
I printed my
that's-
budget thing, yeah.
This is from 17 and 8. You want this one that you're looking at today?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Can you do that in color like that?
Yep.
Thanks. This the original? Yeah, it must be. Thank you, Karen. If you look at the, let's see, page 2, where it says line 5912,
Long-term debt.
yeah, for the tank, for the Walnut Street tank. And you look across, and 2017, we paid in principal 300,000, 48,000 in interest. Then we paid, in 2018, 231,000 in principal, 50,000 in interest. So we paid more interest on less debt, on less principal, but more interest. Then we paid more principal in 2019, and we even paid more interest, even though we're paying down the principal. And then in 2019, they're projecting even more principal, 306,000,
Interest jumped a lot.
with interest is up to 83,000, which, now, Wayne said that the town hall said that they found a $50,000, you got an email there, right? 50.
Yeah.
Read what he said. It was $50,000, was it for new well?
We added 50,000 in the debt principal for the new well last year. The difference from fiscal year 2017 and 18 was because they paid off the hydrants and paid down an extra 100,000 on the meters from unspent funds and water surplus.
Who did that? Last year?
That's what you said, from 17 to 18?
Yeah. The only thing last year, it says we added the 50 grand in debt principal for the new well.
But it
last
should have
year.
been added to the mortgage for the tank, because the tank is being paid for through the sprinkler fees, which is on the industrial customers.
It's all lumped together.
You know,
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
I wonder if they made a mistake, because I didn't budget for that number that he's charged.
Well, that's gonna be hard to meet if we didn't budget for it.
I didn't know, because I'm looking at what was approved going through, and it was 231,640. Let me go
You're right.
So they're just putting everything under the new tower. when we-
256,642.
He
So
can't do that.
He can't just suddenly go up. I don't know whether maybe somebody typed in a wrong number.
We need to look into that more, because what's happening is that any new well projects are being paid for from the money that we collect from sprinkler tie-in fees, and the new domestic water tie-in fees, that's paying for the new wells. But the tower up there on Walnut Street is being paid for by the industrial customers through their riser fees.
Yeah, you can.
And we did raise enough money last year to pay the mortgages and for the painting, and the year before last. And it looks like last year we didn't do it. We didn't raise enough. We should have raised the rate, but it's not the fact that we didn't raise the rate. They threw money in their debt on there that shouldn't be on there. So, we need to talk to the town hall and see if we can get that fixed, because we gotta make sure that we're charging the
Yeah, that's an
right,
extra $50,000.
the right people for the right things
Yeah,
here.
he bumped it on, and then that knocks the interest way up because that's new debt.
I'm hoping that maybe somebody just transferred the number from requests and,
But our interest has gone from 2 years ago, from 48,000 to 83,000 on the
Yeah,
tank.
because
If anything,
because
it
you
should
just
go down.
added a new.
It should be going down because we're paying principal off at 200, almost $250,000 a year.
maybe,
No, but that was going up even before this 50K. I mean, 3 years in
Yeah, something.
17, 18, 19, we're getting the principal down, the interest is still higher. And that's before we hit any.
The interest is going up, which I don't understand why it would go up. Do
Yeah.
they refinance it every year? Is it a long-term rate? What do they
no,
got?
well, the Walnut Street tank is a fixed one. That's
Is it a fixed
40-year
rate?
The
note,
Walnut
yeah.
Street had a fixed rate
Fixed
for
rates?
40 years.
So the interest rate shouldn't be changing.
No, it was, we pay a lot more interest than we should, but it costs too much to try to transfer it over to bond, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the interest still shouldn't be going up as
They-
the
look at-
principal's going up.
Right,
So-
I think hopefully somebody made a mistake here, because,
So we gotta get to the bottom of that one there, because when we did last year's, we had a surplus that the town hall got certified from the state. We have a surplus of $709,870. We spent we should have spent on the water tank last year, $63,977 in principal and interest. Half the cost of painting the tank on Spring Street, that's, goes back to the industrial customers, is $87,129. So that's a total cost we have to raise of $151,106 from our riser fees for sprinklers. And we only collected $101,200. And sprinkler tie-in fees we collected for a new sprinkler system was $9,000. So for the total for last year, we brought in $110,000, but we spent $151,000. But I don't know if that number's right, that it would be in charge there. I think it doesn't seem.
I mean, if you look at the iron removal plan, you can see the interest either went down or stayed the same. But the tank interest went up. They must be,
Right.
yeah,
Something's-
was dead into the tank.
The,
Do we have any, truck leases right now, or everything paid off?
no, we don't have any truck
How about
leases.
tobacco?
No, everything's paid off.
We don't own anything right now.
No, just so the meters got paid off, but I think the hydrants, because there was a whole pile of short-term ones, the tank, and so I think we paid off the meters and the hydrants, but the painting of the tanks is still out there because those were 10-year notes.
So where is that? Where is the painting of the
So
tank?
that's buried into, because he didn't.
He's
collapsed-
burying the stuff into the long-term debt.
Yes, so
Which
the
is showing
short-term.
up.
So it
how
should just
we-
be long-term debt, not, that's not specifically just the tower, the tank.
Right, it's
But
not just
So it can't
Walnut
be-
Street, it's the painting of the tanks.
painting of the tanks, it's the new
Right.
you
tank.
got that one you
Yes.
sent us for a
And
breakdown,
now
right?
that we're working on the
Breaks
this
out.
replacement well,
Right.
that 50 grand got
Which
thrown.
ones were
Which
which?
shouldn't have been in it at all.
Is that in there?
But he's financing it all together, that's why he's putting it into one line item.
Right,
Yeah, but if we're sitting there with that debt for the tower is a 40-year fixed, and he's just
Yes.
dumping it in today, he's not, because he's not refinancing, he's
well,
not.
it's not,
putting it
he's
on.
lumping, he sees them as individuals, but when he gives them to us, he's collapsing them into one line.
Right, okay, so here, Kerry, can you make
So it
copies
needs
of
to
this
get
for
broken
these
out
guys?
separate.
Right.
lines.
It looks like they did it.
Yeah, there's another one. Your mom copies all 4 of those. Kind of funny, on this sheet, you're gonna see it all broken down. But on the line item, it's not.
As long as he has separate, that we aren't, paying the rate.
So now the Walnut Street tank, according to this, for this coming year, the principal should be 32,000. How does that line up with the? There's the tower.
Well, there's Manley Street is separated out, and then there's everything else.
So the Walnut Street tank should be, see, they got $306,000 in principal in it, and on this sheet it's saying 32,000 principal.
And
Interest is 30, should be like 62,000.
and everything else.
You can't, and the other problem with the way they're doing it here is that if we go off this sheet, we can understand it. You go to the finance committee, they're never gonna understand what's going on, but they're not gonna see the real
But
numbers.
none of the numbers from this match up. If you go back to 18, iron removal plant doesn't match. It's not even close.
No.
Principal's 91 on the breakdown, 156 on the total. Interest,
306.
23,000, they got 38,000.
Well, it all adds up to the 306.42. It's that he added in the replacement well at $50,000. The top three numbers in that sheet, if you look, the iron removal, the land purchase, and the iron removal, those are all separate
Are they
lines.
running out of numbers? You know these numbers on the side, 59, 31, is there a problem with them?
I
The
don't know.
computer can't do numbers or something? Can't
I
do
don't
enough
think so.
numbers?
Why is there 2 line items for iron removal plant?
One should be principal, one should be interest.
No,
Right.
there's two principals.
Is it?
Under the,
Oh, yeah,
under the
there's two.
fiscal 2020.
There's 2 principal and interest.
Under all of them, there's iron removal 91, iron removal 35 in 2020.
2018, you got 91 and then 36.
Oh, let me look at it.
91, 30, but, and that doesn't match iron removal principal in the other sheet. Even if you add those two up, it's 91 and 35 isn't 151. So we can't compare any of these numbers to anything. Or these actual payments, not,
Yeah, these here,
So go back to the-
whenever I got these for John Duggan years ago, they used to just line up over here on this sheet. And then these were the total amount of the payments. A lot of times, there had to be 2 payments made in a year, every 6 months. So if it was a $35,000 payment, it would be, half of that in one month, and then 6 months later, it would be the other half. I think it was every 6 months. Some of the payments were made all at once, all in one payment.
yeah, but if you have an actual on this sheet.
It should
here,
match over
and what should be an actual here, they should add up,
Yes,
right?
they should come out the
They're
same.
not coming out the same.
And now the iron removal plant is almost paid for. Right? Principal's 35,000, we only owe 105,000. One of the loans, iron removal paying 91, we owe 182, so next year, not this year coming, but the following year, we'll be doing payoff.
Well, as of July, this says we owed 413 grand on the iron removal plant, as of July of this year, according to this sheet. We owed 273 on one of them,
Yeah, but see,
140 on the
The
other.
payment this year is gonna be 91, and the following year is gonna be 91. So that's gonna wipe that 182 right out. Two years of principal payments gonna wipe that out, it'll be gone. So 2022, we're paying that off. And the other iron removal, we're paying 35,000. That one's gonna be paid off in 3 years. We're paying 35,000 a year, we only owe 105. So we'll just have a little bit of a balance left after paying, it'll be Well, that'll be it, that will be it, 35,000 times 3, 305,000.
These numbers are on, this 156 on the 2018, the 156 is the principal, the both principals.
Yeah, but doesn't add up, in 2018, that only adds up to 127.
All right, I added a 29 in for the land purchase now, you're right.
No, 9136.
Still doesn't make sense, no, not even close.
Was the land purchase for the
I
iron
didn't know, I
removal
shouldn't have
plant
put that in
too?
it.
Yes.
It's almost like they
Yes.
put the land
But
purchase
then
in
that's,
there with it.
then that's what it is. The land purchase was land we bought for the iron removal plant.
Oh, is that what it was? So it's
So
all,
that, okay,
Yeah,
that's
now
why,
that
that's why it
number
comes out
makes
to
sense.
156.
So then why is the water tank one?
They
Off
probably
by a
got, he's
decimal.
probably got next, he's adding something in there.
But I don't know what else you could add in, because we only have one loan for the tower on Wallace Street, right?
That's how the numbers should look.
$306 for the water tank Walnut Street.
Right. And then 151 for,
But that's lumping the short term with the long
right,
term.
it lumps everything together in that line.
Here's Kennedy, wanna read that?
But if those are short term,
He sent a picture of the meter.
Oh,
Right, he just
Kenny.
lumps them, even though it says long term, it's not,
Can I
it
forward
lumps
it to
them
you?
all together,
Yeah.
so.
Well, it makes it almost impossible to set the rate of tie-in
that's
fees,
next to you.
riser fees, and the water rate
Yeah, Kerry.
to cover the operating budget, and then to cover these, the mortgage on the iron, on the Walnut Street tank. You gotta cover that from the riser fees.
Yeah.
But if he lumps it all together, you can't see it.
Well, you have to ask him for the breakdown and then,
yeah, we have to work up, we can't work off this sheet.
I'll send you
yeah.
both.
Which I think I
I'll send you everything
the
you sent
breakdown
me.
last year, it's
Did
just
you?
that they're moving.
Faster, because we're
Yeah.
expediting. So, Walnut Street tank.
But even at that, when I added the numbers.
He didn't
for it,
put the tank painting together, did he, with the Walnut Street tank?
Yeah.
That's,
Yes, it is,
He did?
yeah.
Well, you can't do that. We gotta know what that payment is, so, because the residential customers are paying for half the painting, and industrial customers are paying for the other half. And how you gonna set the riser fees if you don't know what half is?
But I don't come up with this 83,000 though, I only come up with 55,389.
And otherwise, we'll be putting the water tank on Walnut Street, half the cost of that onto the residential customer, which would ought to raise the water rate way up.
I don't come up, so he has in the interest long term, he's got 83,549, but when I add his numbers up, it comes up to 55,389.
Things aren't adding up right, so we gotta
what
get together with them and,
it adds up in 18.
when Wayne and I went over the rate today that we were charging for the sprinklers and the tie-ins and the risers and all that, and designated it out, it did come out right. All the fees, the basic charge, the excess charge, and penalty fees and all that, and what we get paid for backflow testing, that all covers the operating budget. And when you look at the operating budget, it was right. It came out to the same number. Then if you took the iron removal plant, the risers were covering it. And then if you looked at the,
The risers are coming from the iron removal plant?
no, I'm sorry, not
The tank, Walnut Street tank.
the risers were covering the Walnut
You gotta
Street
go
tank,
back there
right?
and just get these numbers.
Then,
Because yeah, that 306 doesn't.
No.
But how could,
Oh.
so you were double checking it with what?
yeah, we just double checked it, and it came out right. It came out right. But
Even though these numbers.
looking at these numbers coming up, these aren't gonna come out right. We had the rate set right last year, was what I'm saying. Last year it worked out.
So leave it alone, it seems to be working.
Well, it worked, but now if we try to set the rate off these numbers, it's not gonna work.
You gotta separate the numbers out.
We gotta separate all these numbers out, and it should be spelled out so that the finance committee can understand what we're
The
doing.
problem is, all the go back to 19 and before, you can take his breakdown and come up with these numbers. You can't do that for 20.
Okay, yeah,
It doesn't work. It's off by, what, 20 grand?
Yeah, I'm trying to add
At least.
other ones now.
You can't- you
Walnut
can't-
Street tank, painting tank and painting tank and the replacement well.
I don't
About
think-
the 281, 642. He's got 306, 642.
I don't think they understand that we raise money from different areas, you know what I mean?
That doesn't even matter though. Where's this extra money?
Yeah,
That's in
there's something,
this. There's money in this that isn't in any of the breakdown.
Who generates all this was generated by town hall?
yeah,
That was all generated by Gagny's office, I think.
Probably the tax interest.
The tax collector?
Not the tax,
This one here comes from
What was
the
the
treasurer,
tax?
this one, the one right here, this is
Treasurer.
treasurer collector. This one here. He. But this
Who
one,
generated this one?
this is usually done by.
You do this?
By,
Oh, they do.
but now it's done by Gagny's office. I don't know who does it up there.
2020 comes up to interest
Something isn't right.
83,736. Oh, because I got them.
81, 824, that doesn't match that either. I don't think my math's that wrong. Even if it's 22, it still isn't gonna work. Yeah, but there's something else in here that's not.
Well,
Yeah, like I said, if we don't have the numbers we can go by, we can't really figure out how we're gonna set the rate.
we gotta have,
Individual.
we gotta go over and find out from the town hall where they come up with these numbers because they're not making sense and the rate's gonna have to go way up to use their numbers. I don't
But
know.
again, we need to know so we break down
Yeah, that
the
makes
rates
sense.
to the right things.
Right, exactly.
So there's no,
I gotta send some.
The X25, X10.
Carrie, I'll give you back that stuff you gave me. I don't want to lose these because we're gonna need these. We don't wanna have to be asking for them again. I just wanted these guys to have copies of the stuff so that they could see what we're looking at.
So we'll hold this. Probably gonna get corrected copies or something.
And this one. And in all that, I lost my agenda. How's that? I'll share yours.
go right ahead.
So, as far as the budget goes, do you have anything else, Wayne, you want to add about the budget?
No, I mean, I've increased lines that were under, I've moved, we're paying, so 30% of the GIS out of, so we moved that up into the labor number. So that number looks like it artificially got bigger, but it didn't, we just moved it out of, it wasn't a GIS line.
That's
so
what
we
we're
reduced
paying.
it. Right,
That's our percentage we're paying towards the
yes.
GIS person.
Is that it on the
You
budget?
said
for
your
now?
vehicle repairs were way over, but you didn't really go up.
I moved it up a little, but not a lot,
Not a lot.
but that was because he wasn't repairing anything when we were telling him to repair it, or the guys were asking him and he wasn't doing it. So we have a new system and it seems to be working out a lot better.
So now we're getting them repaired when we want them
Yeah, we've
repaired.
got, yes,
And what was that? What line? What line?
that's vehicle repair and maintenance.
Oh, okay, all right,
If you look, it's like through the
So it's
roof.
better about getting the stuff fixed now?
Yes.
And it's just like usual, a lot of this stuff you don't have any control over. If the pump turns on, you gotta use more chemicals, so chemical bill goes up, you just adjust what you anticipate with price increases. It's not rocket science here.
What are we pumping right now?
We're a lot less, I think, we've pumped about 256 million for last year.
Really? They're way down.
Yeah, the previous year we were 374 or something, or,
Even after we fix that big leak?
well, that's why you see the big drop.
Right. But what are we doing a day right now?
We're right around
600,
600, yeah,
600.
right around 600,
That's a big drop from
yeah.
other years. We're pretty close to 300,000 most years.
Yeah, we
Two,
were,
two,
yeah,
two
we've
80s,
always,
290s.
yeah, we've always been in
Yeah.
the threes.
So now you're down, what, almost 250?
I think it's 256.
All the rain.
256
Yeah.
what?
256 million. Yeah.
Million
Million.
gallons.
Yeah, the rain that affected us, it's so even.
256 million. We've been up to 3.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've been
We're down
above 3.
50 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually ran in the threes.
I'm surprised with the expansion. I think people aren't running their sprinklers as much.
Well, they don't, ever since, I mean, after the rate thing and the meters all got replaced, they did begin to reduce their
That
usage.
quarterly billing too, it keeps them reminded of it.
Yeah, that and it hasn't stopped raining. And our first 2 quarters where we make our money with the excess, we didn't make it. So come the end of this fiscal year running, we probably won't make budget. Because these next 2 quarters are flat. You don't see a lot of excess, they're usually
There's
consistent.
no
So we usually,
mitigation.
so we should hang right around 600,000 a day right now.
Yeah,
So it's good. Our expenses will drop off because we're not using the chemicals, we're not using any electricity, but probably not enough to compensate for the amount of revenue that we're gonna be
Right.
dropping during the same time
yeah.
period.
I mean, if it all stays good, it looks like a revenue intake of about 1.8 and our budget is 2.1.
That's not good.
300,000.
And, I mean, I can hold off on spending on anything, trying not to, but I have so many lines already over anyways, it's not,
Yeah, you know what it was? We jumped the budget up a little bit when we had that leak and we had all,
right.
based on,
Well, it
what
jumped
our
up anyways,
expenses were.
well, we didn't really, I only went over that budget by a little, we didn't, because we caught the leak and fixed it, that we didn't really need the money, and we didn't spend it either, so.
So that'll fall out of
But
surplus.
we weren't
Yeah,
getting, we ran our
yeah,
budget
you're
up,
already
we weren't
seeing it
getting
as
paid for it.
surplus. Right.
Right, would you say your chemical budget and everything went up a bit because of that leak? At the time?
Well, at the
It
time,
had
as
to.
we ran into it, because, I mean, if you look at the bolts, it's been leaking for a while, it just got drastically worse instantaneously as they cut the bolts. Because the bolts, you could see it cut the bolts, it rounded them all off, and
So, that, we're done discussing the budget, and now next thing on the agenda is the revenue, and that's what we just discussed.
yeah,
You don't have anything else to add about revenue,
no.
Kerry? Okay, next thing on the agenda is the office manager's contract.
So I sent you those numbers, I didn't get time to print them, but I can print them out again if you need to see them.
You emailed it to us?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
There you go.
all right.
I got it and looked at it. I
Did
didn't-
you get them out?
Yeah, I got the email.
I didn't.
How the hell did I not get it?
I didn't get it either.
I just went through my emails. I didn't get Carrie's on the posting and
Yeah, I
the
got Kerry's.
minutes.
Do you want to still work for us?
Other page, that's why. Yeah, actually, chemicals, we only spent 43,000 so far.
told Kenny to forward this text for you, so it's all yours now.
You can take it.
We don't think many people call and complain the bill's too low, do we?
Definitely not.
You didn't bill me enough.
Yeah.
I had to use more water.
We won't hear that. Two incentives, or some kind of a prize for the highest water bill. You should get one out here.
Are the girls negotiating this year?
I have no idea. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't even know who's stewards.
Just say, who the stewards are?
Because one of them left, Jean, someone left.
Gene Upton left?
No,
Oh,
the other lady,
she was in the accessories.
yes. And then I don't know what's been happening with Darlene. Used to be on there, and Maureen.
Right.
Got the whole damn thing, didn't I?
Huh?
I highlighted it and went to do selection. Kind of killing trees. So the only thing changed is what's highlighted, that's it.
Like, the top here, that was just what was here.
Yeah,
And the last one, you just moved that.
Oh, sorry.
Right, you didn't change.
Right,
You didn't
yeah.
change numbers in that.
No,
It's
I just
because of
move it, or as they become adjusted, as they alter, because it keeps, just cascades down. Yeah, I don't go out of my way to fictitiously,
Oh, no, it's just
yeah, no,
Just
I know.
curious.
Yep. Yeah.
On Kerry's, doesn't, you can't put the number, well,
I hate doing
where it
it.
says
Have to keep freaking moving things.
on July 1st, 2020, she's making 69,411, plus representing a, representing a 2.25% pay raise.
Right, so 0.5 for 2 goals and 0.25 for performance matrix.
Okay, so, and then on July 1st, 2021, when you got her at 70,973, is that,
So that represents a 2.5 above that 69,411. That's 2.25.
yeah, but did she get the pay raise? Would she be getting the pay raise on the other achievements?
Well, you have to
Or does
wait,
the 60
no, you have to wait for the year to run to see if she,
So her pay raise is going to be different than 70,973?
yes, that's why each year you end up, because there's no way to tell what if during the year she just, she doesn't meet her goal. Like I didn't meet my goals, so I only got one goal. I had a second goal, well, I think there were three, but I can't prove it, so.
Yeah.
It wasn't in writing anywhere, so.
Yeah.
Well, one was getting the hydrants painted, right? And
Yep.
they're operating the gates, a third of the
Right,
gates.
so we did get the 25% of the gates, and we did get them operated, but we're gonna go up and, the software was wrong. If you don't, if the thing dies, then the date reverts back to like 2008. So then if you're not paying attention and you don't update the date in the thing, then it goes out and it reads everything at 2008. So we'll just go up and turn them again, but we'll pick a different 25%, because you're always gonna be doing 25% circling the town anyways. But before July 1, if I don't make it, I'll let you know and you just reduce my pay. I don't have a problem with that, but we're gonna make it.
Okay, but on Kerry's, I don't remember what Kerry's goal
So
was.
she had to complete the CCR, which we did get that, we actually brought it in-house and we did it ourselves.
Yep,
So that did get completed, and then the other one was the quarterly financial updates.
the what?
So when you get the commitment and then the
Oh, yeah,
financial,
yeah, yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
the budget spending, the revenue, and she's currently finishing up the emergency response plan.
Which I'll have for the next meeting.
So that's two goals in one matrix at .7.
Okay, so then her pay will go from, it'll be, if she met those goals,
That was
is
last
the
year.
69,000 for
That
11?
includes it, yes, it's in,
That includes it?
yes.
Oh, okay. So, and then, July 1st, 2021, she'll get a 2.25 raise.
Right,
They'll bring in a 70,973,
and then
and plus the other, if she
Right.
makes the next.
right, whatever set of goals. So this time, we'll just have a meeting separately, just to have goals, so we get them written down, so I don't take a class I don't wanna take anyways. It was
Okay.
nice, cause it looked out on the water, but.
Other than that, it's the same contract we had last year.
Nothing else was altered in it, but when I send it across, they'll get the whole thing and they can read it, it just verbatim. So I highlight, I hate doing it because you gotta keep indexing down and changing the dates. So if you like the numbers, then I'll send it up to town hall and then they'll review it and then it'll come back and then you can either accept it or not. So all you're looking at right now is the numbers. Say, yep, send it up to town hall, or don't send it up to town hall. Because every year in the past, we've had them review it, so.
I mean, you don't know if they're changing anything in the, what they're doing at the town hall.
Well, I know that after the fact, so they send out the thing, so I jump on it, do all my numbers for the guys, and then they send out a different number. Every year it's always, so then I already went back and fixed everything. If you're gonna expedite, you should be forced to have your numbers in there when you send the thing out to us, not,
Not how things work.
right. I guess it's not a perfect
Send it
world.
to town hall?
What's that?
Send it to town hall? I mean,
Yeah, I don't have any problem with Kerry's thing. I had to look up Wayne's.
2.25%.
Yeah,
Basically.
they're not, and that was already in the contract anyways.
Yeah.
It's-
Tom, do you have any feelings on any of this? You're all set?
So do we, the procedure now is we send it to town hall, they.
Well, that's what we've done in the past, I'm just following past, so that I didn't wanna stall out, because when I looked at the dates last time, we went from January, I don't think it was like till the end of March, and we don't have time for that this time.
Okay, do I hear a motion to send it on to the town hall
A
and then?
motion to send Kerry's on to town hall for review.
Just carries?
We haven't gone over claims yet.
Okay, we're just doing carries, all right, so yes, I second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Dumb question.
Yep.
Got any questions?
Get the number here.
on,
Cover the
on
number
Wayne's?
here.
It should.
So Wayne, how many
Less than
goals
1.6
did you make?
Because
Oh, cause I think I,
It's like off by 3 grand.
yeah, that one's not, this is, see, on the actual one it is, that one,
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to keep up with all the
All right,
various.
no, I was looking at the wrong sheet.
There's too many pieces of paper. Was there a question?
Yeah, how many goals did you meet?
So I met only one goal.
Not one goal. So you got,
Um,
it does the 104,395,
There's one
does
goal
that
and
include
one-
one goal?
yeah, one goal in matrix, performance matrix. I haven't heard you guys yell at me yet, so I'm just,
You're assuming you're okay?
yeah.
We can yell at you if you want.
Yeah.
Effective salary on July 1st, 2021, be 106.74. And then, so then we got the representing goals 2.25 increase on top of that. So that'd be on top of the 106, you're not including
Yes,
that?
I can't include goals that I
Right,
haven't been
okay.
able to meet or exceed yet.
So
That you don't even have yet.
Right.
we're gonna discuss the goals later.
Yeah, because we haven't even made it through this budget year. I can't start doing, well, if you give them to me early, I'm early achiever.
That's all, it's gotta be during that year.
Yep.
Now, the pay raise that we're looking at here, that what'd you figure, 2.25?
Yeah.
Is that pretty?
That's what everybody else is, when they went
the
to this
union and
format,
stuff?
well, I don't know what the union's getting.
We don't know
I
about
do
that.
know what they're getting. Or what he's got, theirs is not, so,
What did Mr. Gagnon and the rest of them get up there?
oh, I don't know what they're getting.
Well, they shouldn't get any more than the rest of the town. I don't know why all of a sudden the selectman's office is different
The
from
only
the
ones
rest
they
of
look
the
at
town.
is ours. They don't look at anybody else's. I give up, I don't care. If the taxpayers don't wanna come out and start screaming and yelling about it, well, that's their fault. But they'll yell about water. I guess.
Okay, dumb question on page 4, under stipends. We've gotten into that discussion on it last year.
Yeah, I don't get any.
Okay,
Oh, you don't get these stipends?
so it
Right.
says, no, so all these items here that are listed under you,
Yep,
the stipends, you're not actually getting those.
I do not
That's
get
only for the
Oh,
labor.
that we
Yeah.
negotiated that in, right? That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
That's all covered in your,
Right.
just because looking at it, it almost, well,
yeah, that's why
It's funny.
at the top it
says
says,
none shall be paid.
right, and it says it somewhere on that first line, in the pay thing too, it says it somewhere in there too.
But then, yeah, but just list
Well,
what you
the other
have.
reason why we did it is so that they can't cheat him out of his buyout, change his pay at the end
Well,
of,
wasn't
at the
that,
end of his career.
that's when Kinahan was saying they didn't roll them in, but yet they rolled everybody else's in.
That's what it was. the
Yeah, I
private-
remember us going through that last year.
Yep.
Like I said, they can do funny things up there.
But they never used to raise the pay, because they said, oh, you're getting it in stipends. But then when it came to the end of my career, they said, well, that's not part of your pay. It's not part of your regular pay. But all the time when they're going for pay, when you're going for pay raises, you weren't getting pay raises on those stipends. But then they were saying, well, we can't give you more pay raise because you're already getting it through your stipend. I know when I spelled it out, that was my base pay. trying to cheat me out of it.
Make a motion, we send Wayne's on to town hall.
Seconded?
All in favor? Aye. There you go, Wayne. I don't need to hold this.
I didn't mean to print them all out either.
What do we got left?
Old
That's it?
business.
Oh, old business. Update on the replacement well, Wayne?
Alright, so the engineer, they were back out plotting some more points, so they're not, it hasn't left engineering yet. Hopefully this is the final thing. I mean, how long does it take? It's a good thing we didn't. I mean, I'm using the well anyways, but if that thing had been a dry hole, we've been in trouble. They're taking so long. So there's nothing, no movement on the replacement well. The update on the water permit, so we can't use any of the agricultural land because the potential use of fertilizers and herbicides, this type of conservation land is not accepted by Mass DEP. So we still can't mitigate anything, so they're asking, was there any other land since 2005? Did the town do any other conservation restricted land?
I don't know.
And I don't, most of it's all farm or the golf course, they bought the golf course,
Yeah,
but
golf
they
course.
won't use that, and they won't
Yeah,
use
but
the
they
running
fertilize
club, and they
it,
won't
they
use.
fertilize it.
Check with conservation and see
Although-
if we've been,
I'm not sure that the Anderson's farm, I don't know if they fertilize where the cows graze. Unless it's-
Conservation is putting conservation easements on a lot of people's properties. Would that be included?
Yeah, we could.
I know
you'd have-
basic septic systems, they're making people deed,
Right, so
well,
some of
places
that,
like Pearl Road and the other, they have conservation and open space easements dedicated in all those properties.
There you
As
go.
part of,
alright, so then I have to start searching to find those.
But even some of the-
Concom would be able to tell you, I think, John Delano could probably tell you pretty quick.
Alright,
so when they get a conservation easement on somebody's property, would that be included?
don't they have
Why
an,
not?
so there
I'm
various.
talking small pieces, but it's,
But it adds up.
Yeah, it's all
Right.
I'm talking like residential septic system, they're making people give an easement to the Concom to approve a septic.
But the developments, like I'm pretty sure the things that were going on Scotland Street, they were proposing the same thing. I know any of the bigger stuff, they've got some kind
You
of
wanna look
open
into those,
space
Wayne?
easement.
See what you-
Yeah, I'll ask, cause I know
Ask
they do,
Kenny or
Concom,
John.
I mean, conservation, they do, open space plans, so they might have them somehow listed. I know
They
he's
could
been
be
working
something.
with the GIS.
Yeah, no, he'd have a pretty good handle on it. How old was Pearl Road, Tony? Is that new?
Yeah, that's
It was just-
after 2005, I was here.
It's
when it
all
happened.
well after 2000.
Actually, it was
Yeah,
after
it is.
the tank was built, because when
It
the
was
tank
about
was
the time
built,
the
it
tank
didn't
was
exist.
Because if you go around,
Right after
the
the tank.
entire perimeter of that and through the backyards of every one of those houses is open space conservation.
Oh, there
areas.
is,
Some of it you're supposed to actually be able to walk through, not that you, but everything else.
even though it's on other
So
people's
that'll
property.
count.
It's, yeah,
That'll all count, yeah.
it's open space / recreational
How
conservation.
much do we need? Or just anything helps?
Anything helps.
So if we can categorize all the stuff like that. and
Yeah.
Concom is the people that would be
All right.
in charge of
I'll
that, so
ask
he
John.
should know. So Tatum and Howard didn't know that we couldn't use the farmland?
No. But pretty much they didn't, everything else they took on the permit.
They did. So what happens if we can't get enough?
Then you have to find some ways to mitigate, I'm not sure, that's when they go into those funded programs for replacing toilets and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's like,
So it's definitely worth us digging as hard as we can for what we might have.
yes.
Foolishness.
Yeah, but they're forcing, it's not, everybody is getting nailed with mitigation plans, it's not, it's every town. They're
Yeah, it's
nailing
not just
everybody.
us.
Right,
So what I'm talking about is, conservation easements on wetlands, is that even gonna count, or does it have to be an easement on developable land? You
Yeah,
can't use wetlands anyway.
right. I mean, if it's on wetlands, I don't think it matters as long as it's locked in space that nobody can ever,
Well,
they
the
wouldn't
thing is,
know.
like the stuff I'm talking about, it's not in wetlands.
It's not.
It can't be in wetlands, it has to be the high and dry
So,
stuff. to
but
get-
I'm saying, if there's a conservation easement on wetlands, does that help?
They don't have to put a conservation easement on wetlands though. They might
Well, I'm
put it
saying
in
they're
a
doing,
buffer.
they're doing it on septic jobs, on my residential jobs.
In the wetland or in the buffer?
Wetland,
I can see it if it's in the, because if it's in both, then you could hit whatever percentage is in the 50-foot buffer.
but whatever's in the wetlands wouldn't count.
Probably not, I don't know.
If they don't know.
Don't, we're on
See
camera.
what you can find
I
out.
know, but.
No, I mean, I wouldn't think it would, because in general, wetlands wouldn't count, right?
Right. Well, yeah, because it's wet, nobody's ever gonna build there.
Yeah, but if it's in the buffer zone, it should count.
Buffer zone should count, sure.
I don't know. It's gonna cost us more in engineering fees for them to start detailing it out than it cost
Well,
them.
you know, it might not be a big deal if, like I said,
I'll ask John and,
if they have a list of all these properties,
Right.
when we got them and what, that have acreages on them,
yep,
because that would all be done as part of getting the plan approval,
right,
so.
I'll ask him.
Update on new water source?
So that's not gonna move anywhere while we're still waiting on a permit. The replacement vehicle, the Jono, the sales rep that I was dealing with, it was not, she was hard to get a hold of. Then when I did, she was always driving somewhere. She sent me out a quote. It was definitely not for a truck, it was for a van body, so now I've asked the town who they use. They use Donovan up in New Hampshire. The guy seems a lot more knowledgeable and thing. Because I was getting worried that I was gonna have a truck with no bed on it and sitting in the barn here.
Well, we ordered a truck already?
No, I have not ordered it.
You wanna pick the body first.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm just trying to
See
make
if they
sure that
recommend
when I
that.
tell everybody to
Everything's
go,
together.
that it's all gonna go together. We don't have a Beverly Hillbillies kind of truck driving down the road. So that's just waiting for a new quote.
Okay. Anybody seen a check from the insurance company on the other
So it went into, so they have an insurance fund, so there's, I forget what the amount is, she'll send me the amount when Tom was on vacation, but the check did come. It's going into an insurance fund account, so you don't have to wait for a town meeting to pull it back out.
Okay.
I just gotta get a copy of the check from them so that we know when the time comes, but I think it was like 16,000.
Was that much?
Yeah.
What year was that, like an 04 or 5?
No, because they got bought after I was here.
Oh.
So I think they were like 10 and 11, so I'm not sure which one it was. And they were under 100,000 miles.
Still 9 years old,
Yeah, but the van was in, there was no rust, no rot, the seats, everything was intact. It was in really good shape. It's not, we take care of our
You
equipment.
won't.
Yeah, but not our fault.
No.
Yeah.
no.
So-
Update it.
The other thing I need is I need signatures on, there are two things here for disbursement of payments on engineering. So one is for the final for the well, and that'll close out that one. And then the other is for work that was done up to date on the inside of the building.
What's that?
So,
Contractors' payments.
yeah. For Station 1.
Oh, for
Remember there were
Station
two
1.
different contracts. One was for the wells,
Yeah.
which was,
And you're all fine with everything that's?
yeah, because he's not, the second one that I was worried about is it's specific, it says work done to date, not, so that's Dankris, which getting Mike in to finish up the SCADA system is next to impossible. And that's why I asked him when he was here, did they have anybody, but it seems like there's nobody in the SCADA field, so there's only a couple of them, and it's very hard, none of them get
So we
like
didn't get our
rave reviews.
SCADA completed for what we're paying for?
Well, you're not
We
paying
haven't-
for
we
it,
haven't-
no,
it's
you're
not
not
in
paying
there.
for it,
No, we're not paying for it.
no.
So it's not really a final one.
Right, it's not, no, the only final is on, what's that W something, the well guys.
Oh, okay.
The other one is just for work done to date, and in the meantime, we're still holding a bond on Dankras anyway, so he's out even more money waiting for Mike to get around.
What does Mike need to do?
So the levels in the chemical tanks don't work. They read up here, but they're not reading what we're using or not using. Because I have it running, but I have it running at 150 gallons a minute daily, so we don't crash the system, but I wanted to make sure that I felt safe with it running. And we've been running it now for a couple of months with no issues.
But it's just not.
Right, I'm not running it full bore. Because I want to take Manly off and get those wells rehabbed, but I'm waiting. Right now, the fiber line is still out between Station 1 and Station 2, so once that comes back on, then I'll tell the well guys to put us on their agenda. I'm trying to keep circling around so that they're, and when the last time they replaced the pump, they wanted to rehab it then, and I'm like, no, it's not time.
Did the chemical injection point get all fixed?
Yeah,
That's all?
yep, we passed the, so we
the
passed.
small-
You did that a while ago.
With
Yeah.
the- Yeah, okay, I wanna make sure it was done.
Yep. No, I changed the pumps, yeah, we physically did it, because they were gonna charge us to do it, so we did it ourselves in-house. Not paying somebody prevailing rate wage to change something that we could do ourselves. If it was free, I would've had them
Yeah,
do
because
it, but
that
it
was
wasn't.
something technically they owed us, they did it per the plan,
Right,
and we wanted it different.
right, it wasn't, the pumps were gonna burn out.
Yeah, so they would've had an extra.
Yeah, no extras.
So Rick only has to sign those, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
I think so, because I think I signed them last time, and that's when I realized I wasn't supposed to sign them. But he's got 10 of them to sign, so.
There's a place for two people to sign on that.
uh,
You just want one signature? It says two. Looks to me like two.
somebody gets to sign 10 times.
You wanna do it, Tom?
Right there, go ahead.
Thanks.
There's a blank that needs to be filled in. Somebody do it.
That's not supposed to be like for the accountant or something, right?
That
No, that's-
early in the beginning. I don't think we needed the accountant, right? That was a huge discussion.
That's for the verification that the funds are available.
Right.
Yeah, and
They,
that's not.
they certify that the funds are available. Town meeting actually voted on it.
Oh, you missed one.
I did. That's why they have two signatures. One guy screws up.
Have any leaks?
Oh,
laying
there's another one you
around?
missed.
No, we haven't. We've been,
Really? I just
Really
pulled them
good.
over with a paper clip.
the only one we had, we caught, I kept driving by the old Spring Street. I guess they gotta rip the house down. There's the house that's on the corner of Spring and Stony. Not Spring, Stony and Old Crescent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I saw the sump pump running, and I knew nobody was living in there, so that's when I had, it was either Kerry or Patricia called them, and the guy ran out like within 30 minutes, and we shut off the water, and yeah, it had burst, the radiator had burst in the house.
What do you hear, somebody contact you about the Scotland Street 40B?
No, I saw the advertisement come out for a butters,
Wants to do?
so I figured if he's paying for that to happen again, he must be moving forward again.
How about,
Oh, I see. These
Belmont
are all
Street,
clipped
not the word
together.
up
I
there?
have not heard anything, but I did ask, I forget when we were with him, and I think it's still moving forward, but that one's really quiet. I don't know where they went off to.
Is that the one on Plain Street you're talking about?
Yeah, the one that, yeah, that goes in.
King with-
Belmont, isn't it?
Yeah,
Belmont Street,
yeah.
yeah. I haven't heard anything about that one in a while.
No, and that one was, I think, a little more straightforward than the other one.
Why, what's the other one though?
The 40B on Scotland and Maple is 84, I think it's 84 houses.
Yeah, I think they went all down to single-family homes now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to figure out what they could do with the septic in there to make it work, was the last I heard.
Oh, yeah.
And he came in at one point too, and I said, well, you done, dead? Oh, no, I'm not done, if anything, I wanna get moving. He figured about another year out, and then he'd be moving.
Okay, so Dan, Chris,
Because I think as part of that, when he negotiated with the town negotiated to have our water main extended part of the way. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just go a little further, because you grabbed the last two houses, and it's not,
I think that was approved 2 years ago.
yeah, it was a long time ago.
okay, now, Taylor and Howard didn't sign any of these extras either.
Now, are they gonna build a sewer plant up there or something?
Scotland Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's,
They
They-
were gonna, but now I don't think so.
They would, but then they were poking around, trying to find places that they could put something like they did up to,
Pearl Road.
Pearl Road. You know,
combined.
I think that-
do one or two combined systems.
I think that sewer treatment plant thing has got done away with, which is probably a good thing.
yeah, because they'd have to have an operator and.
Oh, it's just,
Well, if you drove
If it
by
ever-
there lately, half of where it was gonna be is underwater.
Oh, it's, yeah, it always came way up by, that's why I was surprised anybody's.
So should we sign these even though they didn't sign? This is the change order decrease in it, to Station 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decrease, yeah, it can't hurt,
And just send it back and they have to sign it.
yeah.
Man, oh man, they got enough copies of all the same thing, huh?
The government at work. Yeah, see, $2,500. Better than,
No, well, we saved a lot, because we did a lot of work in-house
Yeah.
ourselves too in the beginning.
yeah, but that wasn't in their contract to begin with. So it
Right.
doesn't- no, it doesn't bring it back off.
No, but it would have been that much more.
Yeah.
Now, is she related to the burnt out house?
I have no idea.
I forget
Tom.
who that was.
Hmm.
The woman, was she related to the house that burnt down?
that was her brother's house.
Oh, all right, because, I mean, he's living there in the trailer. I don't know what he does for water or anything, but
Still now?
Yeah.
I thought the property had auctioned off.
No, the trailer's still there. There's a second trailer, I think, down closer to the water too.
Young Brad still lives there?
That's what he's saying, I don't know.
I haven't seen him in
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, 'cause cars come and go from the trailer.
Her father used to do a lot of repairs for the water department.
Yeah. Yeah, he lived on, didn't he live on Thayer Ave?
No, that's his brother.
Oh, all right.
Brad used to do repairs for the water, I think, way back.
He used to be a private contractor. We didn't have a backhoe when I
All
started.
right, that's how I know the name.
He used to do all our repairs. If we had a water leak or we had a water service to put in, we had to call him.
Yeah.
So he did it all.
The guy on Thayer Ave, I think he was buried in a trench once. I'm not sure what his name was then.
That was Brad's
Earl.
uncle,
Oh.
Uncle Earl.
Earl Herrick.
Earl Herrick.
Yeah, didn't he have like two things happen to him? And
Yeah, he got buried alive, and then he got his fingers ripped off in the sewer cleaner, the thing that spins.
oh yeah,
He got his glove caught in that, and they ripped his fingers off.
that's what happened to my brother with the state. He lost the use of his hand.
And then when OSHA came up to take a look at it, the machine was missing.
I don't have anything more.
Nothing.
Yeah, quick one, since it's winter, not that we've really had any plowing with snow, but are we all set with how things are gonna go between us and DPW?
Yeah, I just told them, so I told them that they could come, but at 8 o'clock, the only storm that they had, I told them as soon as I brought them back, I let them know in advance that at 8 o'clock, I'm gonna call them back and we'll take care of the stations and clean it up and then they can have them back. And I said, if you wanna sit with me, we can figure out ways to expedite that process in the future, but they didn't wanna sit with me, so, I mean, it's not.
Usually by 8 o'clock, the schools are open.
Right.
They're either having school or not. If they're not
Right.
having school, then what difference does it make?
Right, and I figured that gets them all set for rush hour so that they've got the streets clear.
Right, rush hour is taken care of, the schools are open.
So it should be all set, no?
It should be all set. I mean, if it comes up, I'll let you know, but I don't think so. I mean, if we have like a major blizzard, then we'll find some other way to get it done.
Okay.
But hopefully we don't have any.
Yeah, as soon as we think we're out of the woods is when we're gonna.
I know, we're now entering the new winter season.
Okay,
That's all I had.
okay, then I hear a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Next meeting.